This isn't a database on here. Darn. Okay, so we'll have to try and see if we can, from this, there should be a place here. Where did I get it? Oh, I think I can do it right here. Now we're going to do, we can click on the second one. Just click on the second, and we go to Prince Charles. There it is. And hit, I could double click on Prince Charles down here. It comes up in the second tab here. Okay, so now we're set to have the two charts together. So now, once we do this, if we did this chart, it would just give you, this gives you, this is it. Okay, this gives you, but it puts every aspect in, so it's a little bit thick with the aspects. But this gives you the two charts. It gives Princess Diana's, in this case, the Cancer's on the inside with her houses, her satirizing, and his planets are put around the outside. So from this point, you would print it. Now, okay, so you would print this out and you'd get it. Now I have my printer. If I go to printer setup, I have my printer set to a PDF file, to a PDF program. So it prints as a PDF file, and the PDF file comes up, so it stays as a file on my computer. Then I print it from the PDF file to, if I want a printed copy, but I can take the PDF file, make a JPEG, save as a JPEG, and I have copies that I can move. They're in the file, I can move them around. I have a copy from the chart, and I'm not stuck just in the program. But that's set under printer setup. Once you have the printer set up, then you just would print, and you got this chart. So now, once we have this set up like this, we're going to come. Now you can do the same. You just have to reverse the process to get Prince Charles. We click on Prince Charles' chart and put them up. We click on one, and we go to Prince Charles. Click on Prince Charles. There we go on two, and we go to Princess Diana, and she's in two. Now you'll have his chart in the center, and you'll have her planets in his houses and how they fit into her houses. So these are the things we're going to be working with and trying to happen. These are the things we have to assess to put this together. Now I'm just going to go back to the way I had it. One, I'm going to put Princess Diana. Two, I want Prince Charles. Okay, so now we're going to come out of here, go back to the classic stance. So they still stay up top as the two charts. And the classic chart, so we're going to add a form. I have it here, but I'm just going to show you where it is. So you add the form, and you come onto the form. That's the aspect grid. We have a certain number of things that show you here, but here it says more. We click more, it comes up and gives you a pattern here and a whole pile of different types of chart forms. Tons of different chart forms. You can play around with this for a long time. I use, and in our classes, we are using the Euro Wheel 2. Euro Wheel 2 aspect. But here we're going to go down further, and we want to get down to, there's midpoints, there's star dials. We're going to use the Synastry grid. There's one, two, there's one. We're just going to use the main Synastry grid. We're going to click on this, okay? So the Synastry grid comes up, and it shows you it here. Then we say, okay. Boom. Now, it's going to come up here. Oops, there it is. So it takes a second to calculate, but then there's your Synastry grid with his planets on top, hers along the side, the aspects between the two, and the planets, his planets and his houses and her houses, her planets and his houses, and her houses and his houses. That's the information we're going to work. This is how I got it. So I just wanted to show you how you work with this, how WinStar to get this information, and it's fairly easy to get to once you get the charts in there. Okay, so turn that off. Go back into our program. Now, once we got this, this has the information. It's pretty good, but I like to organize it a bit better and a little bit more. It's so easy to get lost in too much information, but now we have to organize the too much information. This next chart, this is the form, and I have it here so that I'll just make it so it fits in onto the whole page. Okay, and let's go. Just pull this down a little bit. We get the whole thing. Okay, so this is the form. Oh, geez, this is rubber. That's a long time ago it changed to RASA, so I took my name out of it, but there you go. It's an old form. But this lets you put her chart, the name in, her aspects, her houses and her signs. Then let's put on this side his chart, aspects, houses, and signs. And then it takes his chart and gives the aspects to what houses in hers and what aspects are made, and the same with her chart, what aspects are made to his. And the planets are just one after the other down, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, put down like that in that order. So this is a blank form. I've left it on here so you can take a screenshot of it and you can work with it. And I used them a lot, but these were I'd fill them in by hand. These ones I did on the screen, so they would be good for the classes. This is a filled in version. Whew. So there's no way you get through this without spending half an hour to an hour just organizing the material. And in organizing, you're getting into it too. Then you back up, take coffee, whatever, come back at it and try and work it in step by step. You have to remember you're staying focused in this is how each of them how they affect themselves, and how in doing that it affects the other, how each person affects each other. Maybe let's see, I can what can I do here? Nice to have the chart showing at the same time. Okay, let's go. Get them both. Bear with me for a minute. I'm going to try and dig up the charts and just so we can look at the charts at the same time. Take a second. I just got to go through my files here. Okay, I'm going to copy these, bring them over here. Okay, let's see if we can get these up. So we just have them out to be looking at. Where's his chart? Keep moving things around here to make it fit. His chart. There's her chart now. Okay, whatever chart here is here. Okay, so now we got both charts if we want to look at them. But at the same time, I really wanted to work with these sheets. In fact, now that I've done it, the Libra in me, I think I'm changing my mind. It's too much of a distraction. Okay, I'm going to take them off. Okay, I should just trust the way I've set it up to begin with. Okay, so we're going to work with their charts, and we've got to work through one planet at a time. So we're first going to look at their sun, their confidence. What makes them confident about themselves? Her sun is in Cancer. She needs to feel good about herself, feel secure, feel good about herself. She's going to have, this is my way. I'm living the way I want to live. I feel good about how I'm living. That's her sun in Cancer. It's in the 7th house. It's natural. I want to have marriage and a home. I want to have the marriage and feel good about the marriage and be in that 7th house relationship. And her sun conjuncts Mercury. It's important for her to be able to talk and communicate. We saw that with her Aquarius moon, but it's here with her sun conjunct Mercury. Talk, even about the little personal things. I want to talk about these things. I want to communicate. I want to share these ideas. This is her Cancer nature. Okay, now his sun, it's in the 4th house, wanting security, wanting home. It's in Scorpio. It's private. It's how I'm living. It's how to say he's more secretive than wanting to say express what he feels, what he's feeling, but doesn't want to communicate. What do you mean talk about it? And it's squared by Pluto. It's in his 4th house. It's squared by Pluto. Has to be like this. He's confronted by sharing secrets, talking personal, like talking about personal things. So while she wants to communicate, he's more threatened by it. Just in his own nature, before you see how they affect each other. That's just looking at the two. Now, when we see how she goes to communicate, she's going to go to communicate with him. His Mercury, her sun, her sun goes into his 12th house. She wants to share ideas. We're together. Let's communicate. Let's talk. What do you think about this? It goes into his 12th house. He's not listening, or he's threatened by it. Okay, her ideas are not taken. So if her ideas, if she can't communicate, or she can't express herself, her confidence, not just her Mercury, it's her sun going into the 12th house. Her confidence, she doesn't fit in. She feels she's not fitting into his world. He didn't. Well, she married and had his kids. He's a very closed, harsh person. Strongly judgmental. She's judgmental, but was much more social. So if she just stayed in his world and never did anything, she was in a prison. When we look at her chart, her aspects to her sun, her sun goes into his 12th house. He's not paying attention. He's not listening. It's not, her importance is not important to him. Or if it's important, it's going to be his underdoing. I don't need that. Like he can't deal with her ego or her strength, her confidence. Really, he should be more subservient to it, but it's her confidence she could not deal with, her self-esteem he could not deal with. So I think that's basically on a simple level. He was an older guy, very passionate, very judgmental, and wants things a certain way. And she may not be prepared to do certain things for such a guy. Okay, so anyways, they might not be the most spontaneous flow of exchanges. But her sun going into his 12th house, and as it goes into the 12th house, from his chart, the aspects from his chart, it goes into his 12th house. Her sun is squared by his Neptune. It squares his Venus. It conjuncts his Uranus. It squares the middle. So it's shocking. He wants it differently. He's shocking. He's got this difference. So her sun goes into his 12th house, where her Uranus is conjunct. His Uranus is conjuncting it. It's got to be different. Got to be different. It's not secure. It's got to be. I got to do it my way. It's got to be different. And there's all kinds of emotional confusion. He doesn't value who she is. That's her influence to him. She's got a lot of trouble to try and get to him for him to listen. That's difficult to make an impression where she can give to him on her terms.